Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started? So where we left off yesterday was that we had our API here on Ali Chat, right? We were trying to hit the Twitch lib and we were having a little bit of an issue. Let me find out where this is because ultimately, it's not here. It's down in the web API. When you are registering a new Twitch user, you are pulling their ID from the web API. So let's make that happen here. Just a moment. Okay, so here in my controller, for my Ali chat under my Twitch controller, I had something here called the Twitch user controller. And here, get Twitch user. No. We want to do this where we're creating the Twitch user. Here, this right here is our API call. So this is our, this thing is being seeded up here, right? So we actually want to make another service for this, for our static, right? Hey there, Code Matrix 159. Good morning. How are you doing? I'll never able to be stand to look at the Pascal case. Why is that? I use it in different places depending on the, so if it's a parameter inside of a method, camel case. If it's the name of a method itself, that'll be Pascal case. Oh, I see what you're saying, because a lot of the C# code that I started with yesterday was in initially camel case. I don't like it myself. So what we need to do is we need to add another service here for iTwitch credentials. Because you have to register this for, let me see what we can do. So I'm going to come over here into my modules, Ali chat, and then we want to look at my client services. Just a moment. Because you need to get your client ID out of this. So let's move this to client services where it belongs. Okay, I also need to bring with it this static. Now this is in my data access layer services. We can remove this reference. This one. And this one we want to add in. So back over here then inside of my client services, we want to add. For me, it is way too much, especially in a method signature, but everything looks just the same to my eyes. Are you using V3 of Twitch API or V5? I'm using V3 just to grab the user ID and then I'll switch it. So just on create. Add my reference here to the project called TwitchLib. Okay, so let me pull this over here. So now what you want to get is, when you are creating this user Twitch here, so the reason why you want to have it on this is because the web API is going to be the one that's going to be doing the lookups on my behalf. So let's just change that back. Let's just take a second. That's what I had decided if, is that the... I need to add in my reference to that TwitchLib. Because what needs to happen here is that right here, when I'm registering my new user, we're going to input that information and then it's going to grab the ID from Twitch. And if it doesn't have it, then we're going to return null here. Because that means it's not registered, and that's fine. So let's go ahead and double check to make sure that everything is working the way that we want. I want to make sure in my IIS Okay, just make sure you don't make something that won't work in a couple of months. I haven't had time to update my app to V5. Once I get the user ID, and even if I'm able to get the user ID from a message, and then I don't necessarily need to hit the API, I can do that as well. I'm trying to limit the amount of stuff that's hitting the web API. That's fine. Okay, so that means that I should be able to come into Ali Chat and just run this. It's the MVC, sorry, this one. No, we need to do it here on the resource. That's right, because I have a form set up to it, but at the moment it's written as a web API call. Second. All right, so this one's ready to start. Let's run it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this run, create a user Twitch. That's fine. And then also, do I have my database still? Database looks fine. Okay. Still waiting for this thing to launch. How are you guys doing this morning? Now this is going to give me a forbidden, so we need to open the Swagger that we put in here. And I have down here my get post user Twitch here. So all we're going to put here is like, I think it's already username. So we'll do code matrix 159. So it grabbed your Twitch ID successfully from the web API. So that's awesome that that is working the way that we want. So then let me come back over here into my MVC. And I want to take a look at, in my area under ali.chat, I should have something here called register. Or you need to register a new Twitch user here. So under controls, you have this thing called Twitch controller. And resource API, and then also your bearer token, that's fine. So if you came and you looked at your views for this, you have an index. Index is just a list and it's within a widget. So let's add a new view in here. And I'm going to call this my Widget Index. Good morning, Artemisura. I like that name. All right, so here, this one. Oops, I messed this one up a little bit. Let's make a new one. I meant to make this as a partial. New view as a partial. Okay, so back over here on Widget Index. I mean, how much slower can it get? Come on. Let me get a cup of coffee moment. That's great. It looks like it's locked up on me. Let's go ahead and close this out. Just take a second here. And while this loads, I'm just going to check my Git real quick, because I should have something up here called... There it is. Perfect. Okay. So let's go try this again. In my areas here, under Alley Chat, under Views, under Twitch, you had something here called a widget index and an index. So in my widget index, we're just going to do my yes, all the way down to, is it a div or is it an article? It's an article. So this goes over here in my widget index. This is going to need to have a model associated with it, so we'll do the same one. Okay. And now I need to here render my partial. So it's at html.renderPartial, right? And then it's something like this. Oh, I remember why. I gotta do this. Okay, it's going to be HTML partial, and I'm going to be passing in my partial view name, which is called Widget Index. And then my object model is going to be model. Okay. Let's run it. There we go. Good morning, guys. If you haven't yet, check us out on the YouTube. Let me post that here. Alright, so we got a problem here. Alright, so we got a little bit of an issue here. It's telling me that it's getting a null here when it's doing a client services alley chat. So let's find out why. That's inside of this controller here, right? It's telling me that this is erroring out. Let's see why. Here we go. Come on. So what it's telling me is that it's parsing the token and we are receiving one, right? We are. Okay. It's telling me that each one of these things is not being set in the for each within my widget index. So it says that it's passing it in as null because... Alright, let's check out here. When we're getting this index here, this is where I'm pulling my users from the web API. So this is going to be called users. And I think the reason why is that we need to take this auth server here and we need to push this. I'm sorry, not this one. The resource server, we need to publish it. Just a moment. Okay, and here we go. And this is taking a Twitch user's Twitch response, right? So that's what the difference is that here in my areas for this view, this is a one of these. And same thing with over here on my index. So now when you look at this, it's for each one of these users' Twitch. All right, let's try that. Now we're going to run it. How are you guys doing today? If you haven't yet, please click that follow. Make sure you click the follow here. We're trying to get the custom username. We can get like another 30 or something like that. Let's see. So we got 27 succeeded here. So let's run it. Let's try that. Okay. It'll take just a minute as it's creating the auth token here. It's telling me that it's not able to find my default connection here. So let's find out why. Under my... Can I pull this web config up? I think I can. Just a second. Yes, I can. Okay. This should be working, so let's go ahead and redo this database for it so that it's happy. So now that means that I need to take my package manager center console thing and I want to update the database on my MVC, which is already my default project. I feel like I need a faster computer these days. Oh my gosh. Or my projects are getting too large for VS 2017. Or VS 17 just causing me problems. Update package. Nope, update database. This is going to error because they're both fighting over the same resource. Because this thing never deleted. We're going to switch over to doing a bot here in just a second if this is going to be giving me guff today. The pipeline has been stopped, which is perfect. Looks like this successfully did get deleted. Now we're going to restart it. We'll need to disconnect this one and reconnect it. Hey there, Serializer. Good morning. How are you this morning, sir? We're good. Let's go ahead and update it. All right, I'm all right. Afternoon. I'm doing good. 6 in the morning here, just waking up. Waiting for my database to update, and we're going to keep pressing forward in this. I made an XMPP client yesterday for live coding, so that was a whole lot of fun. So let's add this migration here. (3:10 p.m. here). Oh yeah, there were a bunch of changes here. Just another second. Man. Okay, so that worked. Let's run it. Hey, War. Welcome to this channel. How are you doing today? All right, cool. So we're officially coming in. So this was called admin. And then if I look back here at my code, and I go to my domain, is it my domain? Yeah, it is. Under my domain, you have your code first context. We want to look at the migrations for the configuration. We're going to grab this password here for this admin account. And we'll log in. It's checking for the token. It received one, which looks good. So we're authed in. And we're going to change this again to be using the Katana pipeline. Okay, so we're in. So now we can come over and take a look here. We in fact did get those. We did get our BLL auth. We have our token. This should load. So back over here now, it's telling me that this thing needs to be a well, what this is saying is that it's in my account Twitch view model, which has a Twitch ID and a Twitch username. Here, it is successfully grabbing my users from the resource server, right? It did. This is returning a Users Twitch response. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. Can I do that? I think I can probably do something like that, but I might need to list it first. Let's find out. Let me come back over into this. We'll just remove these tags for a second. Oops, it's not gonna let me do it that way, huh? So we'll just get rid of these two. Let's try it again. Alright, so you can see that it's working when I'm not pulling the heads of the U, and we're also getting the correct user ID here. So if I created a new one, so that's over here in my Twitch controller under my create. We're gonna have a new view in here called my this is a view. This is going to be called my widget create as a partial. Did you use admin LTE? I used smart admin, but something similar. And that's up there on the YouTube if you want to go take a look when we use that. We just did a straight import on it because I'm trying to do this project quickly. This is a quick project here. So this goes down to the end of the article like that. And now up here, I believe you created something in your library for this called a this one, user Twitch view model. You actually got to change the model that you put on the other one too. So this goes here on my create and then also on my widget create. All right. Okay, if you guys haven't yet, please click the follow. This thing is now this is all the create content. So this is in my create, and this is going to be a at html.render partial, and this is called a create, widget create. And that's going to be of a type model. If you look back at index, this is wrong. It's not users Twitch response. This is a model of view models. And this is going to be a user Twitch view model, which I think we have these things mislabeled at the moment. No, it's this one. No, this one, user Twitch view model, LH view models. That one. And this is also true on my create index. So what made you want to start this project? I have an overlay that I've created for all of this with a bunch of games, and I needed a central control system that took in messages from all the different RSS providers that I'm multi-streaming to, so that everybody could be part of the same community, and then additionally that it would push out to the Pixel Horror Studios website. And this because I do a lot of Unity game development as well, and I really needed to have the fundamental backbone of the company up and running. So that's where this kind of started from, and then I figured out a way to make it scalable. So hopefully if other developers out there need it, maybe potentially we could figure out some light revenue model or something to help keep the servers on, because... All right, let's see here. So this looks pretty good. And now I want to come back over here to the controller, because this is getting a responses. So this needs to return a users Twitch, which is an account Twitch view model, which is wrong. This thing needs to be returning a get user Twitch. Is that kind of response there? It's that one there. Oh. So users Twitch response isn't this, it's a user Twitch view model. Let's try it out. Every time I think of overlay, I just think of a Twitch overlay. Oh, this one's a little bit there. Hey there, live EDU. I don't know if you guys saw, I posted up the bot up there on the live EDU C#. So that's up there in the master now. And then I have the Git flow strategy on it. So that way you'll always have a release candidate available. Yeah, the overlay is different. It's sort of like a whole community thing that I kind of came up with that brings together the different RSS platforms, and then also we can use the Pixel Horror Studio site as sort of like a store that you can spend currency that you can earn in a variety of different games and for different activities. Did I just kill it? Let me run it one more time. I just have the YouTube link. Oh, I don't actually code. Ha ha ha. Object is not returned to an instance. So it's not currently returning this now. Okay, so now it's unhappy with me because my auth server or my resource server says that this thing needs to be returning this other type. So if I come down to the web API for the resource under my controllers for my Alley Chat, under my Alley Chat Twitch's user controller, this thing is my users Twitch here, which is going to be returning this. User Twitch view model. Get users Twitch, and then here do you have this thing in here in your auto mapper. So let's just go ahead and delete that model just so that we're a little bit sure. And then back up here. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then we also want to just check the views real quick to make sure that those things are in fact correct. User Twitch. Try running it. How are you guys doing out there? If you haven't yet, click the follow. Check us out on YouTube for any of the legacy videos. We don't have the custom link yet because we still I think we need like 40 more follows on YouTube before we can apply for that. So thanks again for the support. And if you have any questions, please put them in the channel and join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Come on, baby. Oops, that's why. Let's leave this up so I can see it. What's wrong here? This is called view models. And this is going to be an I enumerable of these things, right? Oh no, this is a create, so it's only going to have one of them. And then this one here is going to be that I enumerable. Should give it a try. So a couple more here. Don't worry about all those. Here we go, here you go. User Twitch response here is a, hold on. I think that actually should do it now, right? I'm gonna go fill up my coffee cup. Second. Love you. All right, that launched. Let's give it a try. Oh, so it's still going to error because we're not saying we didn't publish the resource. Here we go. Okay. And okay, it published. Now let's run the MVC. And we got our users. So it worked that time. Okay, so now it's telling me that over here on my view, there it is. Okay, so now if we wanted to say add a new registered account, right? Okay, so this one, my account Twitch view model here for accounts Twitch, this thing is wrong. So if I came back here to my create and I looked at this, we need to do this as a is it column? I think it's called like scaffold column. Well, I think the easiest thing to do would be to come in here and to create, and let's just go ahead and delete this. And then I think we're going to switch over. After we get this thing registered, these accounts, then we have to get the account so that you can register a number of different users to it. That'll be pretty easy. I don't know why this thing is saying account Twitch view model here. All right, so here it is. Oops, and so now my Twitch username is all screwed up with what it wants to display it, so we'll fix that. But here we can go ahead and put in here the Toladar the kids. And this thing's going to go ahead and crank, and then it doesn't look like that it successfully put it in. So let's find out why. Tulladur the kids. Because you don't have any insert logic right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So here in your client services, you have something here called a do you want to get your users here? Just a second. So back over here then, you need to have something in here called a task of my user Twitch response, and we're just going to call this thing a get user Twitch, and that's going to be a string username. And this is async, right? And you wanted the username here, .trim.toLower. But this is actually going to be a async, and this is going to be an async task. And this is going to be your account create Twitch. Okay, so back over here then in your library, this thing is called a user Twitch create request. And then down here under my user Twitch view model, this one was like that. This is still needs some stuff in here. So you have this. You don't have these things inheriting from a base controller. That's stupid. So a second here. This thing's going to be abstract. And it's going to have one of these things. And this is going to be called var resource URL. And this is going to be a protected constant string resource URL. That works. So now when we come back in here, this should be a little easier to work with. And then my resource, I need to make a new request here, right? And then this one's going to be my access token, which is bll.token.access token, bearer token in this case. Interesting. So it's still, oh, forgot to inherit from base controller there. That looks good. And now this is going to be user equals await this thing where you're going to create it. And then your username is going to be equal to your view model dot username. Then you also need to get your just like that. If my user does not equal to null, then you want to return to action like that. Don't worry about that. Okay, so this thing says that it needs to inherit this. What's wrong? Don't worry about this stuff. Okay, so this thing is my get that's fine. like that. And then this needs to be a string dot format here, right? And this thing needs to be an async method. So that means that over here then in my data access layer for this, I should have something here called get user Twitch by username, which means that up here in your web API, get user Twitch right here. So we're going to say ID or username is what gets passed here. And so now if that's in case, then we're going to have a response.userTwitch equals await data access later ali_chat.get user Twitch of my request ID or username dot trim dot toLower. This thing needs to have a like that. Okay, let's go ahead and rebuild it. If you guys haven't yet, please click the follow. Check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Also, we have a really active and supportive community, so make sure that you pop your questions into the channel. You've already heard this song today. Okay. This is fine. So let's unload a couple of projects because we got some weird errors going on. This thing needs to be here in my get user Twitch async. Is this something? It is. So it says that it can't find my base client services, which is here in my domain. Why don't I see it either? Here it is. We got rid of this one. Okay, that worked. Client services is this one. Oh, here, get users Twitch, get user Twitch. Then we'll remove this and try to get this reference back in here. Clean it. See if that fixes it. If not, we'll re-add it. It's very strange. We'll unload this project, and then we're going to reload it. There we go. So bizarre. Okay, so now I want to come back over here to my core. Just a second. All right, my wife's going to the gym. So this looks great. Let's go ahead and up. Hey there, Metershem. It's good to see you, Privyet. It's been some time, buddy. How are you? Let's go ahead and reload these two projects as well as this one here. It's very good to see you, man. How goes it? It's been a while. This is my time slot. Are you still on our Discord, man? So this thing should be getting this user, not a plural, just one. And this thing should be hitting a user. So then back over here on the resource server under this for the Twitch, we have this as users, user with an ID or username. That should work fine. Let's go ahead and publish this, and then we'll try the MVC. If you guys haven't yet, click that follow. Please check out any of the older videos also up on the YouTube. Let me post a link for you guys. We need, I think, 40 more follows or so before we get a custom URL. So unfortunately, right now, we don't have that. What happened here? Build failed. So this is unhappy with me because it needs the resource user URL and then an access token. Like that. Let's try it again. Discord? No, that's my air conditioner. It's really hot here. Even at 6:45 in the morning. Okay, let's build it. Publish this out. I'm located in Ventura, Southern California. Why won't this let me publish? I don't see it. Just a second. We want to go to this one, to IIS, to PHS, to resource. Ventura, California. I'm from LA Glendale area. I was living in Pasadena before I came. Before I moved out here to Ventura. I'm from Ventura. I went to. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you're just like an hour away. I actually used to work for a guy that I met on Twitch here, too. It's pretty close too. We're all kind of down here. What do you do for a living, Meow Marie? Weren't you here the other day for the bot, if I recall correctly? You're the guy who was here for the bot, right? That's awesome. No, I was on Marengo, man. That was a crap hole. Pardon me. All kinds of crap on that place. Yeah. Dude, I'm glad you're here. I was thinking about what you were saying about entity framework, and I didn't really give a good example as to how I try to limit, because I know what you're talking about with when entity framework starts to hit a database with a lot of different tables, it exponentially slows down. So what I do is I have a domain model, right? And then from that I have different bounded contexts that are by intent so that they're much smaller, as small as I can make them. So ideally I can try to keep the speed as fast as possible. I'm on my girlfriend's account. My wife's a cat. Sorry, I did a bad job with that. So this is what I try to do to mitigate that. Okay, so now can I publish this thing? There, now it's letting me. Oh, Pasadena. Yeah. I like ORMs though, keep it simple. Why couldn't this find it? I wanted to move to Woodland Hills. It is cheaper. Anything up over the hill is different. I like Ventura. Myself, I'm not so yet, but I'm down the hill, you know. Yeah, the Palmdale area is growing. Dude, it's been growing for a long time now. And yeah, it's been a crackhead's dream for a long time. I got all kinds of problems with my IIS for a second. Let me go find out what's going on here in my DIIS PHS. We want to go check out my resource server, and we're going to just delete everything in here. Let's rebuild it. Tesla's building a factory up there. It's going to change it, but Christ is all druggies. Yeah, man, I know. I lived in Nevada for a long time, so it's kind of the same kind of vibe. Sort of like Bakersfield, continuation of Bakersfield. Have you had IIS spin down your ass when nobody hits them for a period of time? Yes. Yes, I have. But then it spins them back up. But yeah, my AWS server that I use. Why is this still doing this? I don't know where Summerlin is, unfortunately. The spin down made me want to die. Can I ask you how old you are? Okay, we got all kinds of issues going on here. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I don't care. Just stop. 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 $26, $27? No worries. I'm 31. We're right about that same age. It's wild. Right around the corner, buddy. Alright, this one. I've done a lot of .NET consulting. I need a business guy to do that side. I'm good with the coding, but my business side, I mean, I got good instincts, but pulling the trigger on formal checks are always challenging. It's like a whole dance. Yeah, my dad's a consultant, so I try to maintain steady employer much as I can. All right, so here, let's try it again. We're going to try to push this thing out. All right, so that worked. Now we're going to go ahead and set this thing. I'm in talk with a VC firm out in St. Louis, and they're interested in hiring guys like us to build them prototypes. Yeah, Marie, let's talk offline if you're interested. You said you're doing a lot of .NET consulting. Well, that's an interesting model. I got to get paid for the time that I put in, but I understand that. So give me an email, liverdevtrain@gmail.com. We can talk more. set as default project. Let's go ahead and run it and see it work. Oh, well, that's the key, man. That's the key. All right. All right, here we go. Let's see it work here. Twitch goes into my... And again, this is wrong the way that we're doing our auth right now. We really need to do this through the Katana pipeline. So is it not firing my resource? Nope, there it is. It works. So let's go ahead and create it now. 403 Forbidden Discord. That's because it's a SSL. You need a SSL connection. So let me give you a unique one. Second. What do you mean, do I have experience dealing with people like that? Okay, here we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create one for Meow, M-E-O-W-M-A-R-I-E-E. And it worked. And there is our ID associated with them. So back over here in my MVC, under my areas, under my alley.chat, under my views, under my Twitch, under index widget. And now what we need to do is we need to actually have a real account in here, right? So we'll add a new controller in here. Just an empty one using read-write actions, or just an empty one, right? No, just VCs, but % ownership contracts. Yeah, I agree. It's really brutal. Like vesting periods. Yeah, it's challenging. I worked for a startup at one point, and that's also really challenging. Careful, Meow Marie. We try to keep it family friendly in here. I don't have the filter on, but no problem. Yeah. So this one needs to be alley chat, right? No worries. No problem. No problem at all. You'll hear me to do it as well. You'll hear me do it as well. So no problem at all. Okay, so this one is my get. So this thing needs to be I should have a views down here for my alley.chat, and I do. And we need to have an account controller in here, right? So if I come back up here, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I should already have this thing. You pull this over. And this is a base controller. Yeah, it doesn't bother anybody, to be honest. Just don't want to have to turn the filter on. And this thing is my alley chat controller. And then what we want to do here is we want to get a list of... We need to be able to create an account for alley chat. So when you create an account for alley chat, it automatically happens when you create an account on the site. So this is wrong. You want to change it here in your account controller. When you come in here and you are doing a register here, you're going to get your token here. Now here what you want to do is you want to try to get this username, right? So it's going to be a var user equals, and this is just going to be a something like this. And this is going to be an await, and it's going to be a client services auth dot client services alley chat dot like that. Thank you. I'll check that as soon as I get off the air. And now this thing is my client services alley chat. And then also my client services alley chat equals my client services alley chat. And this one you want to this thing here, you need to have another one in here called task, and it's going to be called get alley chat account. And then you're going to have another one up here called, oops, and this is an interface, right? Another one here called what DI is popular these days? I use the Unity container is what I use. So much DI. Yeah, I like dependency injection a lot. I really like it. Actually, it seems to make programming really easy for me once I get going, and I can just kind of inject the services that I need, and they're usually just these client services, which are usually just, they don't really have any dependencies except for the library. I think there's Ninjet, but I know .NET Core has its own dependency injection built into it. Create alley chat account. You're also going to need to task get alley chats account. No, I don't think you ever need that, right? But you also are going to need to get your, I think that's it. This thing is going to be a string username, but also you're going to have one that is a ID. And now you should have down here in your modules under alley.chat, under client service, I'm sorry, under library, you should have something here called a account alley chat view model. And so now you need to have in here a request and a response, right? And the request is going to be a, I've had issues bridging those between NuGet dependencies requiring different DI systems. That's one of the most hated things. Yeah, it's really good for MVC. I don't use it at all for anything console related at all. Although I might start migrating these over to like a web, even my console apps to like a web app so I can use Katana. I'm not 100% on that either. But yeah, I could totally see having an issue of bridging the two DI systems together. So I'm trying to keep my team using the Unity container at the moment. But I could totally see that being a major problem. Okay, we need account alley chat request. We also are going to need to have a responses. And this one's going to be an account alley chat response. And this one is a create request. So in your create request, you're going to have this account view model. Oops, wrong one. Which is just these username and an ID. Because the view model includes an ID, which you don't want, and then also this collection of providers, which is going to be a public string, and this is going to be called provider IDs. Array of GUIDs for included providers. Then we also need to have a response, I'm sorry. My day job is I'm a ASP.NET MVC developer, but I guess I wear many hats. So I do just pretty much .NET development, and then also I do a lot of data analysis. Well, I try to do as much data analysis as I can. I used to do a tremendous amount of data analysis. So yeah. Chat services, negative. Actually, just regular old business. You know what I mean? Sales, manufacturing, production. But me and my partner are trying to essentially renovate the system because they're using Cold Fusion. I think every developer wears many hats, says Commander. Hi, welcome to the channel, Commander. I haven't seen you before. Welcome to the channel. Oh, hell no. That was verbatim what I said. That was verbatim what I said. And that's exactly what I told him, too. I was like, oh my god, verbatim what I said. And I'm like, no. We could just go get interns, and we could just pay them pennies, and this is why we just want to keep everything with, like, super simple methods. No generics. Generics cost money. Do it simple. It still is, I believe. Adobe still is supporting it now. Okay, so now account alley chat response needs to have my these two things. But when you look at this, is it virtual? Let me see. Well, because these things... no, that's fine. If I look at my other responses that you've created, do I want to stack this? Because you don't necessarily want to be sending this entire provider back, right? It'll be all right. Yeah, really, Commander. We had a compliant that found bugs. Yeah, there's an open source of it. It's terrible. The only thing, the client was a huge... And they have a heavy premium. Yep, that's the thing. But if all your business is encapsulated in that system, you're stuck. And then also, I mean, if you've been doing business with a system for so long, making a switch includes both like the culture of the people working within the business as well as the executive team. And it's like a major thing. Command01, thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. If you have any questions, please follow them in the channel. And join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. So there's all that in play as well. It was easy to put the initial systems in, you know what I mean? So now we got our responses here. So now I want to come down to my client services for this one. And we had this create Twitch. Oops. So this is going to be create, and this is going to be called alley chat account response. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just called account alley chat response. And this thing needs to be passing over an account alley chat request. And then also the resource server URL and the access token. Sorry, it's in a create request. And now this one needs to be returning this task here, and same thing here. You sound like a job shop, sort of. Do you operate sell for people? As much as I can. Like I said, I'm good at selling. I'm good at delivering. I'm bad at pulling in the final. I need the business guy, essentially, to mediate that relationship. Because I always get so excited and just want to give the world to everybody and everything, and then I don't end up billing appropriately for the time, and then, yeah. Are your clients expecting you to host and operate these products, too? That's really up to what it is that they're looking to do. Most of the time, they want to house them in-house, but I do offer hosting services. So we found an interesting model. That is right. Okay. I need to also have something here called a task called create a provider. And then also a task get providers. And then also a task called get provider. And then also a task. This one's going to be a GUID ID here. This one's going to be a... Oh no, this doesn't have one, but this does. And now down here, we need to have under my account alley chat, under my models, we see provider here. So this, we need to have a provider view model, which includes an ID and a value and an account. It does not include an account. It includes a list of accounts. Right? We found clients that were willing to buy a licensed pre-made part, so that given a site as a blog, we own the rights and they would buy each component. Yeah, that's how I always looked at it too. Build by milestones or modules, assuming that you have a base that you can plug them in and out of. And yeah, if you're doing contract work, I also say that they have proprietary use, but I also say that I have the right to store source code, but with no sensitive data. Absolutely. Sounds a little bit like a Drupal idea, huh? But not necessarily a CMS. But yeah, that's the ultimate model that I ended up on as well. So here we need to have a new request here called provider create request. And then we also need to have a provider response. So my provider create request has these two. And then I don't think I want to attach it to, these, and I don't think I want to attach it to these at this point. Okay, so we're just going to have that. We do microservices, so freelance. We as in your company or the company you work for. We found a more generic microservice platform. It adds much. Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of microservices and end-tier development, so I try to split things apart, and then that keeps it so not only can I modularize and have the team work on different parts, but then also it really sets it up for billing because you can just kind of do it by module. Yeah, everything is we. I'm with you. Okay, on this response, this is going to be a base response, and then we need to include my provider view model. Okay, so now back over here, my client services. This thing should have a provider response. I guess I need to have a provider response. And this one's going to be a public. And this is a base response again. And this one's just going to be a I collection of my provider view model. I have a partner who's really good with sales. Oh, those are very challenging to find. The sales business and then also like AR, AP people are really, really hard to find. He won't go out on site. I have to do that. Sucks. Oh, that's not so bad. I don't mind going out on site. I get people pumped up. That's a big thing that I do. I'm all about pumping people up. Yeah, you know, you stick to what you know. Well, if he's a salesman, that's all you need. Just the one. Okay, so we got that, and now I want to go back to my client services, this one, and then we had all that set up, which is fine. Create provider here has a provider create request, and then also a string resource server URL, and then also an access token. My get providers here just has these two. That looks pretty good there, right? But then I want to go to this get Twitch user async where this thing is being used up in my MVC. Oh, sorry, it's in my Twitch controller. It's where you were doing this. So you need to change it in your... Oh, was I putting all those in the wrong one? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I see there's a lot in the chat. Just a second. Where did I put all that stuff here? Hold on a second. Honestly, sales is really hard. He understands a lot of tech stuff. I've been in sales before. Sales reps and tech are pretty rare. I spent the last 2 to 3 years learning from phone, digital aspects. How can you assume sales rep? They're rare. They are rare. Because if you know the tech stuff, you usually are into the tech stuff. And if you know sales, then you might not be into the tech stuff. But having that larger, that bigger view mentality, so you're either like a technical person or like a generalist, so to say, so that generalist mentality can be a real benefit. No, nothing's where is a sales rep all the time. They use all sales to sales, and I don't know, there's something exactly. Same with me, friends. All right. So I lost for some reason all of my little things that I just wrote, didn't I? This services chat alley chat. That's not the one. Yeah. So it's this one is where we need it. So this thing is my create Twitch user. That looks right. Create users Twitch looks right. And then also this one is my username goes in front here. And then my controller action is here. And when I verify that you are getting this user here, it's going to be my username is first. So now you need to have in here your get user Twitch async. And this thing needs to be async, and this thing needs to be async. So the next one here is You have providers. Get providers. And then get provider. Then the client gets mad or tries to find somebody. I've had guys say we can do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I know that one. And it's not possible. Then the client gets mad or tries to find someone that builds them this impossible thing. Or turns around and says that you blew them on the scope of the contract. Just a learning curve. Absolutely. It is definitely a learning curve and understanding not to overextend. That is the key. Unless you can dig in. Yeah, so normally I try to do a scope, Meow Marie. That's exactly the point. So we kind of initially kind of design what it is that they want, or we talk about it, and then I kind of come up with a scope where I do an initial assessment of the tools involved, and then what they are, of what are available. And then I think I add 15 to 20% as a consultant. Oh yeah, 10 to 20. I know that rule too. Okay. But see, you hear my 10 to 20%. That's why I misspelled. Yeah. Create provider async here. So this is going to be a provider create request. In contract law. I just do it in Word. I write it up and I have them sign it. I literally just generate scope of work. I've done a lot of work with scopes of work, so I just generate a formal scope of work, and sometimes I do UI layout. Provider response. What do you mean you have to go through everything? Yeah, that's part of it. It sucks, is preparing that whole scope of work. And in IT, they really want it to go above and beyond every time. This is going to be a provider create request. All right, this one here is going to be a providers. It's going to be a provider's response. Just like that. And this one is going to be a provider response, provider response. This is a string dot format, right? And then this thing needs to be my provider ID. Dot toString. There is no username associated with this one. And this thing needs to have an ID equals. A contract page where a user can submit a form with XY. Yeah, so much BS, it's almost like filling out a Scrum board. I don't do Scrum so much, I do Kanban. But I'm actually pretty lousy with Jira. I just try my best to keep up on my tickets, and I see it up here and I just go. To me, it seems like, but I try to do modular programming so that I kind of have my own little sandbox that I can work in. It's almost like filling out a script, but we don't do it. To me, it seems like salespeople who are working with Sell or more. If you have sales who have no idea what you really... Problem is, really good sales guy like the caliber. One Sunrise, thank you for that follow. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We've got a really active and supportive community. Please join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. The problem is any really good sales guys like the caliber you think they should be end up working. Yep, that is absolutely true. Or companies like SAP. We're looking at SAP. But it's the cost is a grip. It is a little bit of an assumption, but it's also true about really, I mean, it's the same as anywhere. If you're really good at something, you're going to get picked up. SAP using them for an ERP as opposed to what it is that I'm designing, or at least use the pieces that I'm designing as modules and then having SAP kind of be the central block. I see it straight up that we just do entities using business intelligence, right? And then we use entity framework to make sure that we're doing everything within the entity format. We use web API to mediate and validate all data exchanges, and then that way we can plug in any client applications that we need to and still conform to the business data requirements, if that makes sense, to the data requirements of the business. Okay. So this looks pretty good there, right? And then we also need to have these last three. Hey there, Sika07. Thank you for that follow. If you have any questions, again, please pop them in the channel. Check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Thanks again for all the support, guys. Very much appreciate it. Hey, Meow Mari. Thank you again for that follow. Appreciate that. Oracle offers something like that. It's garbage, though. I'm trying to remember. Isn't it J.D. Edwards or something is the Oracle one? J.D. Edwards. That's also expensive. The other one is NetSuite is one. I don't see NetSuite very different as it's from ASP.NET. That's it. Boom. All right. This one is a create Ali chat account async. This one is my get Ali chat account async. And this one is going to Ali chat account async. Don't you already have that? No. And then also you need to have a second one. So this one's going to be a GUID ID, and this one's going to be a string, and this is going to be a provider name. Okay, this is going to be Ali chat account. This also needs to post to the auth account. So here, you need to have this under my lib for my responses. You have an account Ali chat response, and you have an account Ali chat create request. So I think you're already set up there. So this is an account Ali chat create request, and then an Ali chat response. Okay, be back later. I need to get some work done. Okay, man. Talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow. Like that. And this one is my get Ali chat here. This one's going to be a string.format. And it's going to be a question mark ID equals. And then this will be an ID.toString. And this one will be a provider name. We're going to say that this is my ID or name. Whatever. Like that. Now the other interesting thing in here is that this needs to have a constructor called my client services alley chat. And this needs to have a protected client services off. Okay, so now here, so now what you want to do is you want to get your, you want to await my client services auth dot, and now when you look at this, you need to have something in here called get account. And then also another get account, and this one's going to be a string. And get account by user ID. Just a second. Why do you smash your keyboard? It's so painful to watch your stream with sound. That's how I type. Is it too loud? Okay, so now back over here, I should just be able to call these. Get account by username. Request dot. And in this create request, there is no user ID. Oh, yes, there is. Like that. We're going to do this by user ID. I like that more, right? And then it's going to be my resource. This one, and then your access token. And now this is going to be var account. If my account does not equal to null, it's equal to null, then you're going to do account equals await client services auth dot create account. And this one's going to be a new account create request. And then it's going to be a resource server UR and then also an access token. Sorry to bug you so hard. I focus on strategies for startup, for stage startup, says Toolard the kids. No worries. Jolly says, I'm doing a project for school that requires pretty extensive web application using ASP.NET MVC with Entity Framework. I know 70% of one thing I like is the context folder. What does it do? The context folder, that's essentially my object relational model. And one context has a number of different database entities in it. And an entity represents a table in your SQL Server. But again, an entity and a table are a little bit different. There's a mismatch between the object relational model and then also the entity model. So just be aware of that. But then there's a common conception that a lot of people use with context, which is called the unit of work pattern, where you create a context which has essentially your DB sets, which are already in and of themselves kind of unit of work. It's a little bit redundant. And then you create a generic repository over the top, which you can override if you need to. And then you create a unit of work above that, where a unit of work contains the different database entities, so you can apply changes all at one time. Your save changes exists in the unit of work. So you can apply all these different changes on your context at one time and then save changes and do all of it at one time. And then on top of that, I usually build a services layer. And since it's a data access layer, I usually hide those behind a web API. So I call those a web API data access layer or data services. Marketing strategies, customer retention. If you need someone to let you know my second opinion, let me know. I grew up in a... Don't worry, man. I think we all are, Talar, the kids. I think we all are. So now here, my username here is going to be equal to my request.username. And then my password here like that. And then also you have an email. And this one is definitely required, as is the username and the ID. If my account is equal to null, then you want to return null. No. Yeah, you just want to have that little check in there because this should never happen. Okay. That's why I was confused when you said your best SEO guys doesn't like to be out there in person. My retention is very hands-on and very personal, but he has been mainly with B2B, business to business. Yeah, that's what I'm used to is the hands-on where they go out and they schmooze and they shake hands and everything. But you can also be super good remotely, but that's the thing. All right, so now here you're going to take this, and so now if this is not, then you're going to return await this request. Like that, right? Because this is an account, so isn't there something in here already called a user ID or something like that? And then you want to create this. So now if my var Ali account, do I work as a consultant? No. Await client services Ali chat. So this is going to be a get Ali chat account, which is going to be passed over by this account dot user ID. Sorry, it's just called an ID. No, this is a user ID. So this is a request dot user ID. So we could just do this as an account. Hold on. So we could do that for sure. And now we're just going to do this get this account, and we want this to be my request.username. And then we want this to be the resource server URL, and then also my access token. If my Ali account is equal to null, then here you're going to post this thing. Otherwise, you're going to return null here. All right, that one's fine. So now when we look back over here at our interface, let's say I'm more of an entrepreneur. I have no idea what I am. I just kind of do what I am. And again, time I've been traveling a lot lately, but my buddy and I have been debating starting a consulting firm for startups because we see, especially the younger kids. Yeah, everybody wants to do a startup because they think it's a get-rich-quick thing. But honestly, there's a tremendous amount of risk involved in it. And then for those involved, it can definitely end very poorly with no payout, depending on who's leading it and their morals. Okay? So right here, when we are registering my account, get Ali chat account. And this one's going to be a request, or I'm sorry, it's like a view model dot username. And then also you're going to have a resource server URL, which is a base controller. And then also your access token, which is your I guess you could just do it with your token here, right? So the first thing you want to do here is you want to try to get this account. Like that, right? If my account does not equal to null, then you want to try to get this token. If my token does not equal to null, oh no, if it is equal to null by this username, I don't actually think I need to get this token, because you should just be able to do this await client services allychat dot create allychat account, and this is going to be a new request, and then the resource API URL, and then my access token. Whoops. Email equals my view model dot email. Password equals my view model dot password. My username is equal to my So I want to look at this create account because we don't need this user ID in here. Oh, we do, because it does come from like that. And now you need to get each one of your different providers here, right? So we don't have that at the moment, which is fine. If account does not equal to null, then we're going to register, we're going to log them in here. There. Not all paths return a model. Like that. Not all paths return a model. Okay. So this is get token async for all of these, right? And this is going to be create account async. So you also need to have which other ones in here? Get account by username, get account by string. So here they are. So when you look back over here at your account controller for, oh, this isn't an API controller. You don't have an API set up yet for this. So you'll do that right now. So you're going to post this here as your account response. I'm sorry, this is a get. And the only thing that you're going to be getting here is a base URL. And then the endpoint. Like that. This needs to be an async method. And that's it. And then finally we have this get. This one will be an ID. Just a second. Oh, you don't currently have that in there, right? So hold on. Like that. And now this one needs to be a by username. Hey there, Carelia. Thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. We've got a really active and supportive community, so thanks for coming and being a part of it with us. I think you also need to pass in here a password, right? But you're already checking to see against the authorization server, so it doesn't matter. And this needs to be async as well. And this is a user name. Let's go ahead and see if we can build it. And then we need to build those web API. I've been here all day, LiverDevTry, I like the way you explain things. It allows me to pick up stuff. Haha. No problem, man. I'm only here from 5 a.m. until about 8 a.m. And that's Monday through Friday, Pacific Standard Time. And then additionally, I try to be on Saturday mornings and sometimes Sunday mornings. Click the follow, and then also the discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com is the main way that everyone stays in communication. And then all the legacy videos are up on the YouTube. And there is no music with them, so they have not been muted. We are not quite at 100 follows on YouTube, so please click the follow if you would. I put a link up in there. And here we go. This thing says that. Tillard the kids, thank you for that follow. Appreciate that, buddy. If you have any questions, again, please pop them into the channel. Okay, here we go. This one says it does not implement all of these because you never put async on the back of these. Get providers async. This does not currently have a user ID. Get Ali Chat account here, async, async. This is now my account dot, no, it's my request. No, it's going to be right here. It wants this thing in another request. So this thing is called an Ali Chat create request. So this is the ID of the registered ASP.NET user. Oh yeah, I shot you my email. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Meow Marie. Well, I'm guessing you at Meow Marie and I are going to link up soon. Where are you located, Talar the Kids? Hey there, ANP308. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing? All right, let's go ahead and build that. Because this is now just this account create request, right? var Ali chat request equals a new account Ali chat create request. Provider IDs, we don't have any of those. Our user ID is equal to my account.user ID. And then my username is equal to, like that. Well, you could do this as a request, right? So that way you get the formatting the way that you want. And then it's not like that, but you can move this into here. So up here now, create Ali chat, account async changes there. And then that also means, ooh. Like that. And now we need to change in my web API the Ali chat account controller. You do already have that in there. And this is a base controller, right? Okay, you currently don't even have that in there, so no worries. And no worries. Okay, let's make this build. What are you working on? You know, you said the other day you were programming in Go. Right now I'm building a product in the eco shopping space. What about hobby projects? High frequency trading software. For stocks, it's my hobby. Create account async needs to have this account create request string. That looks just fine. There we go. Almost there. Huh. Get client A services auth is down here under my data access layer auth, client services auth. Sorry, client services auth. This one. Okay. I'm currently working on an Arma Game 3 mod while in the process. Also a Twitch bot. Well, bot service rather. Multiple services. Twitch bots are pretty. Yep, they are. The Arma thing is cool. Unity, I don't know much about the Arma world. I don't know much about the Arma world myself. I do a lot of HL H2 engine stuff. So that's like Gary's mod. If I allied mods, I don't really do any mods myself. I figure out how to make extensions for it in C# the way I can run back in the server. So that's cool. I like extension methods. One thing in the document is you can make 64 extensions, they don't work, never gets called. As soon as I compile to 86, it worked. Ugh, annoying, man. Oops. So I saw where the problem was, is these two here. Let's go ahead and build it. So right here, when you're creating this account, all you need is this, right? Like that, okay? Been hobby programming for about 20 years. Just a couple more here. Oops. There we go. Interesting. You still have a bunch of these to correct, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. So I think we're ready to build. I'm from the old school days of learning how a computer actually worked. Okay, so it built with 2 failed projects. That looks fine. Let's go ahead and rebuild it. Had a high school cool course in programming. I learned BNA. Yeah, but one of the things that I found about programmers is that a lot of them are self-taught. I mean, that ambition is what kind of brings them, you know, to this. I mean, you don't find this by not sitting in front of a computer for days and days and days. Okay, here we go. Okay, so everything built, which is good. And so now when I look back over here at my services,
That one looks good to go. And then over on my underneath my this one, this needs to be auth.client services, right? And now this thing is my client services alley chat. And this looks fine. So I think I'm ready to build my web API now, which is over here under my resource content. I need to have something under alley chat called providers. So we'll make a new controller here called provider controller, which is a web API empty. And now, this is a base controller, right? And now we can steal some of this stuff. Oops, 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 this one. Whoops, wrong side. Wrong side. Okay, that's fine. So now in the providers, we want to come back up here and we want to grab my Twitch. This one's fine. And so also we need to bring in my constructor, which is in my alley chat. Should this thing be passing in a service? T, where T is a type of base service. Is it called service base or client service base, base, client? In your core, you are calling your data access layer base data access layer. Let's call this base data access layer service. iBase data access layer service. Like that. Alrighty. I'll see you later there, serializer. Have fun with those plants. Okay, this is fine. This thing is my... like that. So now you need to be passing that here. This is a protected. And this is going to be of a type T, protected. And this is of type T, sorry. Okay, so now over here, when I look at my errors, this thing says that this needs to have a iBase service. This is an alley chat Twitch controller, so this is an data access layer service Ali chat. So if we check that here under Ali chat, data access layer services, we're calling this my data access layer service Ali chat. We're calling this one my data access layer services Ali chat. Okay. I want to stream my development too, but I don't like interacting with chat while I work. It's distracting. Yeah, that might not be the right thing, man. Interesting. Okay. So now up here, this one is going to be a provider's controller. So this is going to be an data access layer service Ali chat. Okay, we haven't even done anything with this yet, so let's just get this out of here for now. Like that. This one's fine. Okay, here's another one. This thing needs to be passing this data access layer Ali chat. Okay, let's change this one. There we go. Okay. This one is my data access layer services Ali chat, right? Same thing here. Okay, let's build it. Hmm, 16 errors here, but my build failed because of right here. Data access layer Ali chat services. And then you need to have your constructor. Try it again. 3 successed, 0 failed. Everything is up to date. So where we are left off is that we need to put in our providers controller, so that way we can input different providers into the system. We have our accounts already set up with registration, as well as with Ali Chat accounts, and then we need to set it up so that we can register providers. So for me, guys, that's it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning. We'll go from about 5:30 to 8 or to 8:30. If you guys have any questions, please join us at the Discord, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. You can reach me at liverdevtrying@gmail.com. We also have a YouTube, which has not been up for very long. So all these old legacy videos are up there in case you want to see them without any of the audio, so you can catch up with the project. That's the link there. And I guess if you haven't, click the follow. And until tomorrow, guys, have a good evening.